Welcome to How It Works, a video series from Law Sites and LawNext in which you get to see hands-on demonstrations of legal tech products directly from the developers. On today's episode, a demonstration of Clio Work, an AI-powered workspace that helps legal professionals analyze matters, identify gaps, shape strategy, and determine what to do next. Joining me to tell us all about it and show us how it works is Joshua Lenon, lawyer in residence at Clio. Joshua, welcome.
Hi, Bob. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. Want to jump into the demo quickly, but give us a little bit of a background here of what we're seeing. What is Clio Work? What's this all about?
Yeah, Clio Work is our newest product, and in fact, it is our fastest adopted product in the company's history. And Clio Work is an AI system paired with a 1 billion legal library that helps lawyers analyze their documents, manage their artificial intelligence workflows, and begin to automate their process using agentic legal-specific workflows, this comprehensive legal library, verified legal outputs, and it creates a persistent workplace that has an evolving context. So the context just builds over time. So the more you use Clio Work, the more it understands your cases and your matters, and it improves the future output. You can use it on its own, which is what I'll be showing you in today's demo, or you can actually pair Clio Work with any of our Clio products, specifically Clio Manage, for managing your cases, your time and billing, your communications with clients, as well as the whole suite of Clio software that's out there.
Yeah, I know it was just launched 6 months ago, and I know that because I was there when it was launched at the Clio Cloud Conference, so I'm looking forward to seeing this demo. You want to go ahead and dive into it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the screen. All right, in this portion of the demo, I'd just like to introduce you to Clio Work. This is the Clio Work standalone version. So what a solo, small, mid-sized law firm who's looking to pair legal research, document analysis with artificial intelligence, this is what they would have access to. And if you look on the left side of your screen, you'll see that we have access to Vincent, Clio's proprietary artificial intelligence platform, a library that enables you to research all of VLEX's legal case law, statutes, regulatory matters, the full library. A link to Draft, Clio Draft, which is our advanced document automation tool. And then we've also built a lightweight organization here for firms that are not looking to migrate off of their existing practice management solution, but be able to organize their artificial intelligence use around matters, contacts, and documents that they have within the firm. So as we go through the demo, you're going to see that Clio Work is very extensible. So it can pair with things like NetDocument storage, or other DMS systems so that you're able to pull those documents directly in and use them as a part of your tech stack. Or you can use Clio's own organization throughout here to bring this all together. And all of the access here is governed by the settings and permissions, just as you would have in any other Clio software. And that includes all of our great security, ISO 27001, SOC 2 compliance, GDPR and HIPAA certified compliance. All the different standards that we bring to our other suite of software is here. When you first jump into Clio Work, what you're going to start with is Vincent, just asking you a question, the normal chat bot experience. But there's so much more that you can do with Clio Work. I want to just briefly highlight all the different types of workflows that are available in Clio Work. Whether it's research workflows, ask a research question, build an argument, compare jurisdictions, litigation-specific workflows like analyzing a complaint, building an argument, analyzing pleadings, transactional workflows like analyzing contracts or looking at a wide source of documents and being able to review them in a tabular format, regulatory reviews, international law and our comparison against that. You can even analyze video as a part of this. We describe this as analyze a judicial proceedings, but you can upload any type of video in here. There's so many different types of programmed workflows within Clio Work that you can use just from the first screen. So if I wanted to, I could actually drag and drop a document onto Clio Work's home screen right here. And immediately it'll start to get to work with it. Bob, you might actually recognize this document that I'm pulling up. It's the Hefner case out of the Second Circuit. Automatically, Clio Work has started to read the document, gives us a short summary of what it thinks the document contains, court memorandum on AI communications, privilege in criminal cases, and then begins to recommend workflows. It can extract a timeline of facts. It can tell us who is all listed within this document. It can start its own analysis, including any authority tables, or it can start to look specifically at different backgrounds of law. And one of the things I want to point out here is I didn't tell Clio Work which set of law to look at, but it extracted it already from the document. And as you can see, it's automatically raising Second Circuit and New York federal law as the source of what it's going to look at. Right? And so we can ask any question we want about this document. But first of all, let's just extract the timeline and see what all happens. This is an example of non-agentic workflows within Clio Work. I can actually tell it to do multiple things in a row, and it'll work its way through automatically. You don't have to manage agents. We just help work them in the background for you. And here we can see from the subject matter included in the document itself, it started pulling specific dates, organizing them chronologically, and providing a link directly to where it pulled this information. And this is something I want to highlight about Clio Work, is it builds in verification workflows so that you don't have to find this information yourself, but instead it tells you where it's pulling from. And this is one of the best ways that legal AI can help prevent hallucinations, is by giving you the ability to find the citation, check it yourself quickly and easily. And I'll show you several more examples about this.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. I like that. Now I can actually do a lot with this table. I can change the view. I can download it as an Excel or CSV. I can actually save this as a Word document, the entire conversation that I've already had, or I can save this directly into my Clio account. And I can add more files as I need to expand the conversation. So let's ask it to pull up a little bit more. Create a table of authorities. Just asking it to grab these and provide links to the cases. So it'll do that automatically, telling you the work that it's doing along the way and preserving that as a history of my work with this document. It's identified the cited cases. Now it's locating them. I can see its work along the way, and we're just about to have our output.
Are the chats saved beyond the session that you're in?
Yes.
Go back tomorrow and see the same chats I did.
I can always see that. That's right. And we did that because we wanted to build, again, that trust but verify, right? You can see the work that's being done, but also you can go back and review it as necessary. So here it's populating all the cases and the links. And while it's doing that, I'll go up and here's the show process link. That's that preserved workflow that it went through, exactly what you were just asking. And that's a part of the history that is preserved in Clio Work. And so now that it's finished the table, it tells us exactly what it's going for. It had one citation irregularity, right? And so it let us know, hey, there's something weird here. So I preserved it as written while listening to the actual matching case. Let's go ahead and open that case to make sure that we've got the right one. So here we're able to see the case in VLEX's library, directly accessible from Clio Work. This is a part of the Clio Work service, is you have this whole library at your disposal. And so now I'm able to take a look at this case, see is there any treatment history around it? Does it have any negative or distinguishing features? I can even grab the proper citation right here by clicking in it. And then I can go back to Clio Work and continue to do my review of that document. So now I'm back and you've seen roughly how Clio Work can grab a document, analyze it, but I want to show you how we can do more with that because we paired it with light matter management and contact management as a part of the Clio system. So let's jump into our matters. Here, I'm able to see some demo matters that we've included as a part of this. And I want to start with a transactional workflow. I can jump into a case that we see here. Here, we're representing a Lone Star Hospitality Group in the acquisition of a restaurant, Grillty as charged. And I can jump directly to Clio Work to work on this matter, or I can also jump to it via our documents that are stored here. So for example, if we take a look at the employment ingredients that have been stored here, I can actually analyze it with Vincent right from matter management. I don't have to jump back and forth. I could actually add all of these and analyze with Vincent right off the bat. So let's go ahead and do that. So if I want to analyze a particular matter, I can go from the documents that we have here, or I can point Vincent directly at it. I can grab documents directly from the matter. And again, this is still the standalone. So let's grab those employment agreements. Vincent will immediately start to work through these, bringing context from the documents into its analysis, and will start to recommend different types of workflows based upon the documents that you provided it. So here we see just some of the straight analysis it can do. Is there client hostile language? Do we see obligations that we need to have? There's risk mitigation. And it even actually starts to bring up some issues under Texas law that we might want to go over as we look through this. I want to start with the risk mitigation workflow and just tell it to run. What risk is it identifying? It wants to make sure that we're identifying who they are. So here, what are the risks that Grillty has that are derived from the contacts in these documents? And it's already starting to recognize that some risks are here and organizing them in a way that I can then dive into those documents and confirm them myself. And as we see, it's working its way through the process and providing it. So the highest risk is from the manager, which includes an unusually expensive change of control severance obligation. And as it finalizes this table, it'll provide a link directly to that paragraph and give us the ability to identify that. It's also categorizing risk by tiers. It'll explain what those tiers are as well, and provide some practical recommendations on what we can do as a part of this workflow. And one of the things I actually love about Clio Work is it often provides a next step. Do you want me to do something on your behalf here? Yeah, I'd like a red line style amendment checklist, but let's do that only for Bobby. And this brings up what we call the legal pad feature within Clio Work. It's where we start to take research and analysis and turn it into work product. When you ask it to draft something, it's going to give you an in-app editor with its first pass of that document. And you'll have the ability to make light edits within this editor itself, and then download or save the document as either PDF or Word, so you can continue refining it outside of Clio Work if you need to. So here I see the first pass by Clio Work in what we're calling legal pad on an amendment checklist, things that we can be going through and negotiating, right? Mm-hmm. So it's showing me the current language, the proposed red line, and what's the rationale behind it. And as it continues to build this out, we'll see more and more detail. It's actually even comparing it against the other employee agreements to make sure that we're bringing it in alignment, right? It's pulling in the context from the documents, but it's also pulling in the law that is appropriate to it. It's telling us that I've taken a look at Texas-specific law as it comes to non-compete agreements, and making sure that it's enforceable within the jurisdiction that it's derived from this. And it's even provided a link to that I could open within BLEX's legal library to confirm that information. So that's one example of using Clio Work in a transactional workflow. There are lots of other questions that we can ask it about this transaction.
Just real quick, that can be exported as what, PDF, Word, or?
Yes, yeah. We can actually download this as a document or a PDF, or we can save it directly as a document within the Matter and Clio Manage itself.
Okay.
We can even just copy it if we wanted to, so we can copy and paste it. So that's one example of different types of work that we can do within a Matter itself. Let's go ahead and jump back to Vincent and ask another quick question about this, another analyze. So here we'll want to summarize some documents. We can add it directly from, as we see from the Matter itself, or we can upload from integrated partners like Google Drive, NetDocuments, SharePoint, and OneDrive. I've already populated these within the Matter itself. Let's take a look at our contracts with our supplier agreements. In this case, I'll just grab one in particular to speed up the demo. It's providing me context of the documents before I even ask any questions about it, pulling specific information. And once it finishes its quick review of that, it then provides those linking page references, and it's building those out right now so I can jump to it. All right. So I'm always able to go and take a look at where in the document did it pull this from. And if I click on this link, it'll show me it within the PDF. It's suggesting different types of workflows within here. I like the obligations list on this one, but I have a specific question that I want to take a look at, right? Are there any clauses that favor and it's giving me that context, right? We're looking at it from Grillty, and therefore our client who's a purchasing Grillty, is there something that may become important within this contract? And it's breaking them down for me, right? It has an exclusive supply obligation. That's actually a really big problem if I'm buying a restaurant to add into my restaurant chain, right? It also highlights the automatic renewals, which I think is a really important feature for anybody to notice in a contract. And so this is giving me now items that I can add to my due diligence checklist as things that I might need to further research, or that I might turn to my client and recommend that this might not be an appropriate acquisition because of the risks that we've identified in the employment agreements, in the supplier agreements, and all the different documents that we've had. Now let's take a look at a litigation workflow. And for this, I'm going to jump to a matter, Saeed. This is a personal injury matter, motor vehicle accident. We've received specifically a demand for a bill of particulars. This is a New York specific procedural workflow. I see you nodding. Have you ever done one of these?
No.
Yeah.
But I have studied New York civil procedure law.
Okay. Yeah. So if I wanted to, I could actually just point Clio Work directly to New York so that it makes sure that we're using it. It's asking, do I want to include federal, but it's personal injury, so I don't want to. I also want to point out that you aren't limited to the United States. We have a whole host of different countries and libraries that work with Clio Work, again, automatically included. And let's add documents from the matter here. So here we've got some of your standard documents in an early personal injury case, right? We've got our summons and complaint. We may have some statements that our client has made as a part of our intake or elsewhere. Right? We have a demand for a verified bill of particulars, and we've got some medical records that we've uploaded and the police report. So let's add all of these. And again, after reviewing the documents, it starts to pull some context from them based on the documents themselves. And what I want to do is I just wanted to draft So for those of you who aren't familiar with bills of particulars in New York civil procedure, you can only ask for a limited type of information. They're very fixed in scope. And so here I'm telling it, let's make sure that we only answer exactly what those are. And it'll go through these documents, pulling out the information that it needs and creating that draft. It's pulling this information from both the matter itself and information that I have stored there around the contacts, like our client, and leaving space for things that might be applicable. And it's even throwing in some particular formatting, which is often common in these types of bills of particular. So here I've got the initial draft telling me what's there. Let's populate this. Here it's adding in the details, pulled directly from those documents, verifying our page references so we can go back and check it. And then I can ask it to open this in the legal pad if I want to do some further editing along the way. One of the things I want to point out is the information that it's pulling is from the document itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's pulling the registration and make from the police report and telling us that it's there. It's telling us if it's an application for no-fault benefits. It's listing the claims that are there.
Yeah.
And it's telling us if there's no answer in the document itself, right? So that I can go back and change this. Let's edit that in legal pad. And let's say, for example, that I want to edit this section here. I can put and that becomes a part of this document. And when I save it or download it, that change will be a part of the document today. So this is an example of how you can be using Clio Work in both transactional and litigational practice, how it can be paired with light storage of matters, contacts, and documents within Clio. And I can always go back and open that work. And so here we're exactly where we left off with all the prompts that I gave it and the processes that it followed to get there. So that I have a verifiable system that I can use over and over again, learning the context of my firm and learning the context of my case. Now, while Clio Work alone is very powerful, when you partner it with the rest of the Clio suite, we can actually take this even further. Lastly, I wanted to show you what Clio Work looks like when it's not standalone, but instead is paired with the rest of the Clio suite. In this case, Clio Manage, our practice management platform. This looks very similar to what you've seen before, but instead of having matters, contacts, and documents here on the side, they're actually available and accessible via Clio Manage. You also have access to our Manage AI, which enables you to take certain types of actions, such as automating billing from here and using some agentic workflows, not just in terms of Clio Work and its Vincent LLM, but also the Manage AI LLM. You can also apply time and billing as a part of your work within Clio Work. And the Create New also includes activities that aren't just Clio Work related, but Clio Manage as well. For example, being able to create a new task for yourself that'll be stored in Clio Manage, or create an internal message that you want to send. It extends your capabilities when you pair these together. And so I wanted to highlight that while Clio Work standalone is an incredibly powerful piece of legal generative artificial intelligence, when you pair it with the rest of the Clio suite, it actually takes what you can do even further.
The question I have that I think probably a lot of people are watching this right now would want to know the answer to is, what's it going to cost to get this?
Yeah. The cost is very straightforward. It's $199 per month per user.
And is that true for whether it's standalone or whether you're using it within Clio Manage?
Yes, it is true whether you are purchasing the standalone price Or if you're trying to integrate it within the rest of the Clio suite, it is a fixed price per user.
Yep. Okay. And that, just to be clear, that includes Vincent AI, but that also includes access to the legal research library, what was previously the VLEX legal research library.
Yes, the entirety of the VLEX legal library. So all of its case law, all of its statutes, regulatory coverage, its historical coverage and journals. All of those are included as part of the Clio Work purchase.
All right. Good. That looks great. I'm really glad we were able to get this demo today. I really appreciate your showing it. And anything else you want to say before we wrap up here?
It's always a pleasure to speak with you, Bob. And I appreciate your unbiased take on these types of tools, right? Really putting us through our paces. And so thank you for giving me the opportunity to show it in its best light.
Oh, thanks a lot, Joshua. Always good to talk to you. And thanks for this demonstration of Clio Work. That's it for this episode of How It Works. You can find the full series on YouTube. Just search for How It Works, and also in the LawNext Legal Technology directory. This is Bob Ambrogi. Thanks for being with us today.